Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. UNLV in Kansas to watch. Watch out for quarterbacks. UNLV, Matt Suzuki from transfer from Holy Cross hasn't showcased his arm yet, completing 46% of his classes, 232 yards, but is a feared runner and takes 20 times already and 129 yards with a touchdown. However, the team has faced a second Big 12 team, and last week they won. They outclassed Houston. Did UNLV. The Jayhawks are a far legitimate team. Suki will need to perform as his best in order to beat Kansas. Jaden Daniels was shaky at the loss of Illinois last week. A certain pick six before halftime. An additional Daniels only rushed for 35 yards. Usually he's a key part of the game and excitement plays. Well, he found his form, so he needs to rebuild against UNLV. So we can't acquire for a home field advantage, but the Jayhawks offer will need to find its quick form quickly. Look at UNLV power transfers to additional full season. Head coach Barry Odom, former Mizzou coach, the Rebels are off-season has gone legitimate already, beating Houston 27-7 on the road last week. That the team probably should have put more points on the board, while UNLV may still question in the passing game. Team is more than capable of ball against a defensive line that may be vulnerable. And you go offense, no huddle. Daniel Heisen is a junior, over 33.5 rushing yards at 113. For Daniel, Devin Neal, both games have been over 100 on the rushing yards. Wide receiver Lawrence Alder is a player to watch. Cornerback Kobe Bryant, kick is at 6. Kansas is favored by 8.5. Kansas State, this will be a non-conference game because this was picked before the Big 12 was made with Arizona. Both the squads are starting 2-0. They've had shaky moments start of the season. Kansas State to go real scare from Tulsa on the road last week, ultimately pulling it out 34-27. Arizona trailed FCS program Northern Arizona 10-6 at half before pulling away 22-10. A week earlier, Wildcats found themselves in a shootout against New Mexico 61-39. That was Arizona. The game is at 7 Central. DJ Guyton is a player to watch out for. Quarterback Noah Fifth and wide receiver Trenton McLean are all coming off down performances for Arizona. DJ Guyton is a Wildcat. Wide receiver Tyrell Milken and VJ Payne. Trey McClellan is a wide receiver for Arizona. He has 4 touchdowns in the first 2 games. The Wildcats, he is also a player to watch out for. Game is at 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 Central. K-State to host. K-State is 2-0. Arizona is 2-0. They're 20. K-State is 14. The Bills and Dolphins squared off. Miami Dolphins started with an interception on 3rd and 13. Bills responded with a touchdown. Dolphins responded with a touchdown. A punt, interception. Punt by the Bills, interception by the Dolphins. Field goal by the Bills. A punt, a touchdown. An injury on the Buffalo 13, a 4th and 4, scrambles up the middle. He is knocked down on the play and gets a concussion, another concussion for Tua Tagovailoa. That will be a hot topic after this podcast. A punt down, turnover on downs, missed field goal turnover on downs, and the game was over. 31-10 was the final. Now let's listen in to more from Tua Tagovailoa. That's football.
Bring the people inside the locker room. We don't talk about me. At 30, at 31, at 28, I actually didn't think a lot about what was on the other side. I thought about what was right in front of me. Right. And so many times we make this about money, right? And don't get me wrong, like we get to change generations of our last name, of our family, understood? But I played it because I loved it, right? And I played it the way I played it because I loved it, because I wanted you to know I love it. I wanted Mike Tannenbaum to know I love it. I wanted Dan to know when he wrote about how much the game meant to me. And think about Tua Tagovailoa. He didn't have a play like that last year. We never walked in here and said to ourselves, he should have slid. We never walked in here and said to ourselves, Tua Tagovailoa can't take that hit. Because he continued to protect himself. And he did get the money. And the part about being indebted is, hey, everybody's saying I don't create enough plays. Everybody's saying I don't go above the X's and O's. Well, I got $53 million. I'm going to show you what I could do. I'm going to show you who I am. When I went to Mike Tomlin, I begged to play in Denver. I put a team of doctors around, and my sentence started with, Coach, they say if I'm dying, they can save me. That was my thought. My thought is, if the reason I got so sick last time is because I didn't have these people here, and because we weren't prepared. But now I'm prepared to not die. That's what Tua Tagovailoa was going to say. Tua Tagovailoa was going to say, if I'm cleared and you give me an opportunity to play, I want to play. Somebody's going to have to step in for him.
NFL again, obviously based on his concussion history.
Well, obviously, based on his concussion history, one would sincerely doubt that he should. I certainly need to say that. We have to remember, it's not only his third concussion since 2022. It's his fourth concussion in the last 5 years. Remember, y'all, his last year at Alabama, on a play where he was running, he suffered a broken nose along with a plethora of other injuries that included a concussion. And so concussions are, they talk about when you get them, the more you get them, the more debilitating it becomes, the worse you get, the more susceptible you are to them in the future. And so knowing that that is a reality, I think that anybody with sense would say, it's something he should consider. I certainly don't disagree with Shannon Sharp. I listen to RC on Get Up earlier. I don't disagree with what you have to say, but I also think that there's a reality that we can't escape here. It's not going to happen. He's not going to walk away. He just signed a $212 million contract over the next 4 years, $167 million guaranteed. This is generational wealth that we're talking about here that he's trying to accomplish for himself. And he has a family to think about now. Obviously, he's thinking about himself, and he should, and he's thinking about his family, and he should. But this is part of it. RC, you played the game. You're Super Bowl champion. And I remember when, you had your situation, and Mike Tomlin had to force you out. He wouldn't allow you to play. You were going to put your life on the line. And obviously, there's a lot of us that love our families, but I don't know of anyone who wears it more on their sleeve than you, as it pertains to the love that you have for your family, RC. And then Mike Tomlin had to force you to sit out. Yeah. At that particular moment in time, you weren't thinking about that. And so when you're a football player, this is what you all have taught me. When you're a football player, you're willing to put it on the line because your mentality is you're putting it on the line every time you step out on the field. How do you then turn around and say, I'm going to walk away from it right after I just signed a 4-year, $212 million deal with $167 million guaranteed? I think that's a hard thing to expect. We can all say that we think he should, but the likelihood is that he won't.
In baseball, the Royals finally get a team that they don't have to play a above 500 team after 20 games consecutively. Playing above 500. The Royals are 80-67. The Pirates are 70-76. Alec Marsh will get the tab for the Royals. He struggled in his last couple starts. Luis Ortiz will go for the Pirates. Game time again, 5:40. And the St. Louis Cardinals will play the Toronto Blue Jays. Eric Fred will go for the Cardinals, and Guzman will go for the Blue Jays. Game time 6:07 in 7:07 Eastern Time. The Cubs will play the Rockies. The Cubs are 75-71. The Rockies are 55-92. Austin Gober will go for the Rockies. The current standings in the MLB. The Royals are 4 games back. The Cubs are 9 games back of second. The Cardinals are 10 games back of that. With the wild card, though, the Royals are in the second spot of the wild card. The Twins are third. The Tigers are 3.5 back. The Red Sox are 4.5 back. The Seattle Mariners are 4.5 back too. Tampa Bay Rays 6.5. That's CM on Sports.